Good afternoon. Welcome to this edition of the Richard Urban Show. I'm your host, Richard Urban. Coming to you from historic Harpers Ferry, we present news and views from God's point of view. Today, we're very happy to have William Keplinger on. He's running for Commission of Agriculture on the Democrat ticket. So please introduce yourself and tell us about yourself or your family, whatever you'd like to introduce.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Richard. I'm William J.R. Keplinger. Most people call me J.R. That's my nickname, and actually that's my name. I'm 51 years old. I live in Moorfield, West Virginia. I'm a third-generation farmer, and I got to tell you, one of the proud things, I got a letter in the mail. I am proudly endorsed by the West Virginia Farm Bureau. So that was something that I've been a Farm Bureau member for 30 years. So there you figure it out. Ever since I was 21 years old, I was a Farm Bureau member. We actually have, let's see, I've been married to my wife, Stacy, my lovely wife of 18 years. I got to compliment her. Maybe she'll see the video. And I have two lovely children. I have Mackenzie, my daughter, and William is my son. And I live on a family farm on South Fork. It's outside of Moorfield. And we raise 700,000 broiler chickens and 65 head of brood cows. And I went to West Virginia University and studied resource management and economics at the School of Agriculture at WVU. Graduated from there in 1991. Started a business providing bedding for farm animals, and it's called Keplinger Shavings, and it's still in operation today. So I'm quite proud of successful business. You definitely need to understand business if you're going to help someone in your state.
Right.
I think that's one of the requirements that you must have. You need to know business, and so after that, I started the business in 2000. I ran for county commissioner, Hardy County Commissioner, and I won, got elected in 2000, and I ran two more terms. So I've served 18 years as a Hardy County Commissioner. And during that time, I was also on the West Virginia County Commissioners Association board, and served there for 12 years, which that was so many wonderful people I got to meet across the state. We had meetings in different counties throughout the state, and it was just a lot of networking. You got to understand how counties operate, how the different problems at each county, all 55, have similar problems, and they handle it in different ways, and it works. And you need to talk to one another to find out what works and how to solve. Why reinvent that wheel? So that networking is very important, and so that's some of the experience that I've gained from that, and
Okay.
that's I believe that's one of the necessary parts of trying to move on to the next step. And that's what I want to do. I want to be your agriculture commissioner for the state of West Virginia, considering my background and my education, and I believe I can bring a lot to the table.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. What do you think are what are your three main campaign points or three main issues you'll most emphasize?
The one thing that I want to see is I want to expand and improve on agriculture. We have technology out there today that most people they haven't seen, they haven't heard, and the easier way, we have high tunnels now, the way you can climate control and grow vegetables, and the same thing with high tunnels goes into the poultry business, which I've been in for several years. You climate control everything. You know what your heat is, you know what your water flow, what your temperature is. You can increase it or you can lower it, and that promotes the number of the days that you can grow a product, and as far as vegetables, as far as poultry as well. And on that, food safety. We went through this terrible medical emergency. We had the coronavirus hit us, and we see the importance of quality food. And so food safety and animal safety, and animal health, we have to help those farmers and help the public, help the citizens of the state of West Virginia be able to have a resource of safe and the quality of food, and be able to purchase that local quality food. And just to increase the awareness of agriculture. I want to promote the youth in agriculture. I think 4-H and FFA are some of the most important youth programs out there. They inspire leadership and citizenship and community involvement. And that's just 3 of the many that, I could touch upon that I think is very important, that we need to work on with the Ag Department, and let the Ag Department work with people. I mean, they want.
Well, I want to interject one thing, like food safety. So do you feel there's a dynamic or conflict between like the GMO crops and organic crops, or those kind of practices? Is that causing some problem? Because I was reading sometimes some farmers are saying there's there's cross contamination, or is that an issue here in West Virginia you've seen, or is that causing any trouble?
I haven't seen any trouble on it, but we got to be environmentally aware of what we use and what we do. And a farmer, he knows what he has to do. He's not going to use too many chemicals or anything that is not necessary, because that's a cost to him. He's in it to make a profit. He don't make a lot of profit. Some of the farmers just barely get by, but a successful farm knows how they need to diversify, and they need to do certain things to make their product successful and grow. And as far as some of the largest farmers, you have to have some type of a Roundup ready corn. The smaller farms, vegetable garden, things of that nature, you can have companion plants. And what are those that they allow to attract the bugs away from your plants that you're growing, your vegetables. So those are some techniques that help on the natural side, that a lot of people are aware of what those plants are for, but they will help you be a little bit more environmentally safe and conscious of what it is.
Okay. Yeah. So you feel that those like the Roundup things are necessary for the larger farms use those, right?
They are, and if there's something better out there, we got to continue to research and find better ways of producing things and better ways of protecting our crops. Technology is there. We just need to advance it further. We need to be aware of what opportunities we have, and that's where the education value comes in. And the youth, we need to find a place for our youth in our agriculture future. And the young kids, you give them a computer, they'll do anything. They amaze me. My 12-year-old son can do things on a computer, and I'm thinking, I wish I knew half of what you knew back then. I would have really been a little further along than where I am right now. Just the education. He is so intelligent. My daughter's the same way. She was in DECA, and she went to the state, won state honors. And when this coronavirus hit, it knocked that nationals out. She was all fired up. She was going to Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow.
And,
yeah, that could go.
Yeah, that was quite a trip, and I was proud of the class that she was with.
Okay. About the COVID-19, so has that affected your operation at all? I mean, we've seen or heard or seen that there's some shortages of like meat, or is it affected many farmers, or not so much in West Virginia, you think?
As a farmer, we're always biosecure. We have to worry about diseases in whatever manner for our farms. Our poultry farms are probably more biosecure than any. But even your cattle farms, you need to be aware of the potential diseases that are out there, and safeguard yourself. And so we were a little bit more aware of possibilities and potential scares, more than the public. But as far as changes, we just practice the same methods that were given to us from CDC, and social distancing and things, and try to limit your travel around people. But as as you look at the bigger picture, you worry about the food and where you can obtain quality food and healthy food. And you know, when you go to the supermarket, you know, everybody piles in there. So I know that the farmers markets, and you know, they made conditions to where you could go in, and a situation of you could maybe drive by, and you know, they bring it out to you. Things like that are very helpful, and I appreciate those guys that have done that. And it was a necessary part of our times. We're in uncertain times. We don't know what our normal is right now.
Yeah, I saw that. Although I know some farmers are waiting for the regular. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm pretty opinionated if you watch some of the other blogs on the whole thing, as far as the response of the governor and everything. But
Yeah.
we'll focus more on like farm issues here. Well, like the community support agriculture model, do you think that's good for a lot of farmers? I know that's one model, right, where people buy shares of a. Is that like, do you know many farmers that do that, or is that a good marketing model in your opinion? Or what are some ways that and I know there's farmers markets. Is it real? I guess what I'm trying to say, is it really an issue for smaller farmers or others farmers to getting products to market? Is there plenty of market there? Or I was also thinking, like, over here in the Eastern Panhandle, you know, we're closer to DC. It might be a different atmosphere for the farmers markets over here than say in Western or Central West Virginia.
Yeah.
Is there enough like market there to keep the farmers sustained, or do they need other markets?
Well, in my own county, we do have a farmers market here, but our population, 12,000 people. That's the whole county, 576 square miles thereof. And it is hard to create a business model that would produce and actually thrive in that atmosphere. Even in the Eastern Panhandle, which you're probably an hour away, something there from me. I'm right at the little bottom of the Eastern handle of it. But that's the one thing that I really want to work on, is marketing. There's a lot of things you can do. You can promote high tunnels. You can do anything you want. And when you go and get the funding to produce and build a high tunnel, you really don't have a set of rules of what to grow, when to grow, how to grow, and where your market's going to be. You take, if you have these high tunnels out there, you need that market before you actually decide to build a high tunnel, if you're going to create an income. Now, if you're going to do it as a hobby, you know, you'll do your tomatoes or your vegetables, whatever you want to can. But a lot of people can create an income, either a part-time or a full-time income, doing something they love to do. And those high tunnels doesn't take very much ground. So you can actually get involved in agriculture and take that product, but someone has to create that market. Right now we have a captive audience. We have our school system. The legislative act of allowing them to purchase a certain amount, we can up that amount to see what we can produce, but we need to get it organized. And I feel that that is the ag department's responsibility. We need to work with our farmers and show them how much we can produce and how much we can sell. You know, you don't want to go 100% of what your maximum production is, but you can see where it is, fill the model out, go for a year, see where you're at, and grow it. And you know, actually, that might be what we want to do. You know, I've got a brother that has a restaurant. He pays, you know, a ridiculous amount of money for tomatoes that are clearly not ripe in January. You know, if you ever get
cardboard tomatoes.
Yes, and you know, you want a tasty, a vibrant a vegetable that enhances your salad. You don't want something that you'd really rather that it not be there when it looks like that. But I don't, I've looked at that for years, wondering why we couldn't do that right here. And I mean, I know we won't produce the July or August tomato that's the prime, the ripe season, but if we could get some variation or close to that, why would we pay Mexico $50 for a case of tomatoes when we could do that right here in West Virginia and probably get a little better product, stimulate our economy in some ways. Now, you have to work about what product can work, you know, because we have weather issues to deal with. And so it would take a little while, a learning curve to see where we could do it. But
Yeah.
the marketing is the secret to everything. And, you know, those guys have those high tunnels. I know they have a desire or they wouldn't even got into it. So they have a green thumb of some sort and a desire to try to create an income. So if you could do that, promote that, and even that, instead of trying to do, you could either have a cannery or you could freeze dry these vegetables. You know, we have a local producer down here, well, a plant that has an instant freeze dry freeze facility that you could put vegetables in there. They could market these or package the vegetables and freeze dry them and put it in your local markets.
Maybe there could be some kind of marketing cooperative or something.
Oh yeah, it's out there. We just need to work with it, and it's just something that nobody's ever tried to do. But if you have someone out there growing a product, we can grow it. I don't care what it is. We can grow. We can make it happen. I mean, the people of West Virginia are pretty tough about their gardening skills. They can handle things like this. And it's not only for that. You know, you go into your beef market or your even your poultry. You can do specialty products on that there. You know, I'd like to buy your local beef, and that's what you need to do. People need to be able to find that market and sell right here and stimulate this economy instead of helping someone else out. We need to promote West Virginia agriculture, and I think that's what it is. We need to grow West Virginia products, sell West Virginia products.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be good. I mean, it's a good thing if we can.
Did I throw you off?
That they can find their market niche. I mean, I know a guy who's selling a long time at the Shepherdstown Farmers Market. He's doing well with that. But as far as year round and stuff,
you have a hydroponics out there, a guy that grows with the water, and that's a very interesting aspect too. I mean, you know, that's a possibility. We get more involved with that there. I haven't had the privilege of visiting that fellow there, but you know, I understand he runs a first class place there. So that would be.
About one question, like about, I guess it's more a national question, like with farm subsidies, does that come into play much in West Virginia at all? Or that's one of the other candidates telling me that's more the larger players that doesn't really come into play much. Do you think they're a good idea, bad idea? Should it be more just market driven?
Well, I do believe the market should do help us more than anything, but subsidies are there for a reason. And you know, if you're honest and you need help, be it a drought, be whatever it may be, you know, that's what they're there for. They're for a crisis situation to where you need help through an area or an economy burst that just kind of slows your whole production down. And that could be a possibility to help sustain those people until they get back on their feet. But of all, I think, you know, you need to work for what you get. And, you know, farmers are proud. I mean, they don't want a handout. They want a hand up if they need it. And it's most like West Virginia citizens. We just need a focus. We need to stimulate this economy in West Virginia. You know, if it wasn't for Mississippi, West Virginia would be last in most places. So I just thank God for Mississippi. But I was talking to a lady the other day, and she said something about farm size and production, and she told me, she said that we were like 40 some, and I didn't know the statistics of what it was, and she says we're larger than Rhode Island. I said thank God for Rhode Island. So we're bigger than Rhode Island in agriculture. So
what about the role of, like, one more question before you kind of maybe wind it up, like is it, I know in some states, I think it's not allowed in West Virginia, like raw milk products. Some parents like want raw milk products. I know there's contention over that, you know, because some of the states say no, 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 no raw milk products. What's maybe fill me in more. What's going on in West Virginia? I think one of the delegates, state delegates, was telling me that West Virginia does not allow those kind of products. Or do you anyway? Do you have any information or opinion on that issue?
Well, just a little of what I've talked to others about it. Yes, it's not really permitted to sell raw product on that. The way a lot of them get along with it, they own the share of the animal or what have you, and that's if you own it, you have the responsibility because it's your product. But you know, it's pasteurized for a reason. There are potential and diseases that you can contract from unpasteurized milk, even though there is a healthy side to that as well. It goes with preference of what you want. You know, sometimes the risk is not worth doing. So you have to figure that out yourself. But you know, all people, hopefully one day we'll figure out how all those guys can get involved in, and there's probably down the road, you know, pasteurization, you know, was created many years ago just for that reason. So for the safety products of them, for the consumption of the person. But as we look at the bigger picture, you know, that's what agriculture and that's what the ag department is for. They're trying to find safe products. You know, we have the safest food in the world, and right here in the United States, and we want to continue on with West Virginia having it safe and have animal health. We have to stick with those points. We really need to put safety first.
Okay.
And especially in this type of an atmosphere, you know, it's what it is.
Do you think, I think it came up in my other interview, do you think the products like should be labeled for country of origin or GMO or not? Or do you have any opinion about that?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do believe, I believe it's called cool country of origin labeling. Um, yes, I do believe that. I would want to know where my product comes from. If I'm eating a hamburger, I would want to know if it's Argentina or what have you. And you know, my preference would be West Virginia. That's where I would like to see it from. And you know, I think that's one of my platforms I would like to see. I think West Virginia needs to create a branding. You look at Kentucky, they have Kentucky beef, Kentucky brand beef. Ohio, I had a friend of mine went to Walmart and that had Ohio brand product as well. We need to promote West Virginia. You know, we're a proud people here. We need to stand up for ourselves. We can create a product. We don't have to belittle anybody or hurt anyone. We just need to stand up, be proud, create a market, and buy West Virginia products. I mean, it's a quality product. A lot of people out west, they seek West Virginia cattle. They want these cattle. They're a hardy cattle. They're a quality cattle. The West Virginia University years ago created the bull testing, and I'm not sure how many years now. It's several years they're into it, and they have one right here in our county in Wardensville, and in Hardy County, and they have a couple sales throughout the state. But
Okay.
that's what really has promoted our quality of beef is the sire of these offspring.
All right. So with just to wrap that question up, the GMO labeling, would you support that? I think that's been very contentious as far as I know. I guess it's more a national issue, but should things be labeled if they have GMO or not? Or
Well, yeah, they should be labeled. It shouldn't be deceiving in any manner. I have no problem about that there. And it's a preference of what you have to use it for. It's there for a reason. There's a reason for that. You know, sometimes you have to feed a certain amount of people and you have to have a product and it has to be produced. We've not seen those type of times when it is so hard to find food to where you are hungry. I mean, I don't know, you know, and when you hit those times, then you realize what it is.
I see.
But so yeah, I think it does need to be labeled. There's no problem about that.
Okay. And just to wrap up, like any other things you'd like to share with the voters, like how you may differentiate or why would they vote for you versus the other couple of candidates? I know in the primary you have two opponents there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I got, yeah, a closing remark or something. Is that what you want me to
Yes.
say? Okay. Um, well, for one, I'll go through a little list of what I've done. Of course, I've been a third generation farmer. I've owned a business for 30 years successfully, and still operating on the farm. I was a county commissioner for 18 years. I served on the Secure Rural Schools program. I was on the West Virginia Insurance Risk Pool. I was on the West Virginia County Commissions Association board. I was on the Planning Commission for Moorefield or for Hardy County. I was on the Regional Wastewater Authority. Was a $41 million project that helped the Chesapeake Bay and try to be good stewards of the land as well as a farmer. And Career Technology Educational Advisor Council, Hardy County Public Park Region 8 Council. I was on the Extension Service Committee, and so many others. I'm on the Poultry Association, on the Forest Association, Wild Turkey Federation. So I've been quite busy through my years.
Okay.
And with that being said, if I got a few more seconds, I'll put what my statement might be is agriculture is a bright spot in West Virginia's economy. In these times of uncertainty in international trade arenas, agriculture can and will continue to benefit the citizens of our great state. Food safety is a priority of our citizens of the state of West Virginia. Education is essential for the future of agriculture. Technology is growing in agriculture industry at a tremendous pace. We need to support our youth organizations like 4-H and FFA and help our children learn about agriculture, leadership, and community. Our agriculture industry needs our children to be part of our agriculture future. As we maneuver through these trying times with the medical crisis upon us, our need for safe food and abundant food resources as biosecurity are well understood. We need to market West Virginia products. We need to allow citizens of our state the opportunity to purchase West Virginia grown products. Our West Virginians need to use the exciting new advances in technology and agriculture to create part-time or a full-time income doing something they love to do. Being a farmer, we always want to be good stewards of the land. We soil test, we try to apply the proper amount of fertilizer. We get everything. We need to be mindful and protect our valuable water resources. And also, being a third generation farmer and a businessman gives me the first-hand experience in understanding the struggles that farmers face and most businesses in West Virginia's farmers face.
Okay. All right. Wow, that pretty well wraps up. Okay, well, I do want to thank you.
Well, thank you. And if anybody wants to check me out, it's votekeplinger.com. Look me up. And I appreciate your support June 9th. And I want to be your agriculture commissioner.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Richard Urban, your host, coming to you from Harpers Ferry today. And we will see you next time.